Good afternoon, everyone. Last class we started the nerve muscle physiology. So, in that we will today in this class we will deal with the muscle physiology. Okay. So, in the muscle physiology, there are three types of muscle: skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle. Here we will first the difference between those muscles, right? Cardiac muscle, already ma'am taken the class, so I will directly go to the skeletal muscle because for the movement of the body, mainly the skeletal muscle. Okay, the muscles in the body is which is skeletal muscle generally required for the movements and stability. Okay, and also it is a excitable tissue like neuron. Understood? So skeletal muscle, so I am dealing with only the skeletal muscle. So in the skeletal muscle, so mainly required for the movement of the body. Okay, it is also excitable tissue like neuron. So excitable tissue means what? It will when it receive the stimulus, it will produce a action potential. Clear? Okay. Next come to the structure of the muscle, skeletal muscle. It is very little bit difficult to understand. Okay. The muscle which is attached to the tendon. So this is the outer covering. So call it as epimysium. So inside there is an endomysium. So it is these cells are muscle fibers are arranged in a bundle. Okay. So inside the endomysium, this is a single skeletal muscle fiber or a cell. Okay, single muscle fiber. So it is arranged in a bundle. So you can see. So in one inside, there are many bundles of cells are there. Okay, bundles of cells. Inside a bundle of cells, there is a single many muscle fibers are there. So this is one inside again the small. Okay, small fiber, small muscle cells and fibers are there. Clear? Understand? So next coming to the structure, this is the microscopic structure of the skeletal muscle. If you see, there is a sarcomere. Okay, sarcomere. So sarcomere is the structural and functional unit of a muscle fiber. Understood? So that means in a bundle of muscle fascicle, so there are, it is elongated structure. So it is like this, cells are like this. Okay, so you can see alternative A and I bands. So this single, if you take a single muscle fiber, that will show A band and I band. Okay, so A band and I band. So together we call it a sarcomere. It is a structural and functional unit of muscle fiber. It includes a structure present between two consecutive Z lines. So that means, so this is the Z line. So if you take, this is the muscle fiber. Okay. So alternative, one thick band and one thin band. Thick band, then thin band. Okay, thick band and thin band. So like this it is arranged. So thick filament and thin filaments. Okay, thick filaments and thin filaments. So if you enlarge, okay, if you enlarge this, you can see that because the Z lines, between two Z lines, these thick and thin filaments are arranged. Okay, alternative light band and dark band. So this thin and thick filaments are arranged. So this is a thick filament and this is a thin filaments. Okay, thin filaments and thick filaments. Understood? So in the skeletal muscle, the microscopic structure shows alternative light band and dark band. Okay, alternative dark and one light band, one dark band, like this. Between the two Z lines, okay, between the two Z lines, consecutive Z lines, Z line means, so between this, okay, Z lines, between two Z lines, in the I band, okay, in the I band, which is divided into two portions, that is called Z lines. So just remember, between the two consecutive Z lines, the thin filament and thick filaments are arranging. Okay, thin filament and thick filaments. This A band is made up of a myosin protein. Okay, myosin protein, and I band is made up of a three types of protein: actin, myosin and troponin proteins. Okay, so these are the contractile proteins, very important for muscle contraction. Okay, so when you are doing any work, so when you are doing suppose for example you are taking a pen, okay, you are moving your hand, right? So that time your muscle get a stimulus, okay, muscle get a stimulus, and there is a muscle contraction is taking place. So after that there is a relaxation. So during that contraction, these contractile proteins, okay, these contractile proteins are very helpful for muscle contraction. So hence it is called contractile proteins. So they will ask the question, name the contractile proteins. Okay, so you have to write myosin, troponin, tropomyosin and actin proteins. Okay, so in this, all the A band, so A band is mainly made up of so A band is a dark band, so thick band, okay, thick band or A band, so mainly made up of only the myosin filaments, okay, myosin molecule, only myosin molecule. I band, that is a thin band, right, thin, so this one thin one is made up of actin filament. So on the actin filament, so then actin, troponin and tropomyosin are made up of thin filaments. Understood? So I will repeat again. Sarcomere is a structural and functional unit of muscle fiber. So sarcomere is extended between the two consecutive Z lines. Okay, between the two Z lines. If you taken the muscle fiber, okay, a single muscle fiber, so if you see, it has an alternative thick and thin filaments. Okay, thick and thin, so thick and thin filaments. So this thin filament is mainly made up of three types of, also call it as I band, okay, also call it I band, is made up of actin, tropomyosin and troponin. Then the thick filament, also called as A band, which is made up of only myosin protein, okay, myosin molecule. Clear? So these are arranged like this. These are thin filaments. Between the two thin filaments, one thick filament is present. Understood? Between the two thin filaments, one thick filament is arranging. So when you are doing the muscle contraction, so these get, the thin filament gets slide over means the thin, so it is coming nearer, the two will be like this, the relaxation of the muscle. So when there is a muscle contraction, so it is coming together like this, nearer, so that time it is sliding over the myosin molecule. The two thin filaments are coming together. Then if it is relaxation of the muscle, it is going back to its original place. So that like this, the muscle contraction is taking place. That is another class I will explain. Okay, so just remember these things. A band or a thick band is made up of myosin protein. I band is made up of actin, tropomyosin and troponin molecule. So the actin and myosin, these two mainly involved in contraction of the muscle, hence it is called contractile protein. The remaining troponin and tropomyosin are regulatory protein. So that means these two are present in the thin band, but it is regulating. So there is a during muscle contraction, so it will not show any contraction. Okay, so just it is regulating the process. They are called regulatory proteins. The invagination of sarcolemma of the muscle fiber at the junction of A and I band is called transverse tubule. So T tubule or a transverse tubule, there is a sarcolemma of the sarcolemma means covering. Okay, so each muscle fiber is enclosed by a cell membrane called endomysium, also call it as sarcolemma, the outer covering. Okay, covering of the muscle fiber, covering of the muscle fiber is called sarcolemma. So at the junction of A and I band, so thick and thin filament is there, na, thick and thin band. In this junction there is invigilation. Okay, so invagination means like this. Okay, so there is a invagination is taking place, that is called T tubules, transverse tubule. Next, coming to the myosin molecule. So this is a myosin molecule. Okay, so it has a head portion, so it is twisted. Okay, it is twisted like this, but at the head portion, so it is facing opposite. That is called, this is the head portion and this is the tail portion. Okay, head and tail portion. This is a single myosin molecule. So like this, many are there in the thick filament. Okay, in the thick filament, so these are many myosin molecules are. These are the myosin head, so which is facing outward. Understood? So this is a portion of a thick filament or a band. Understood? So A band or a thick filament is made up of myosin molecule. So like this, there is a million so many myosin molecules are there. Okay, so each myosin filament contain about 200 myosin molecules. Okay, 200 myosin molecules. Next is the thin filament. So this blue color one is there, na? So that is the actin filament. Okay, so that is also twisted like this, double helical structure. Okay, so actin filament called G actin. So in this actin filament, so this troponin and tropomyosins are present. Okay, so troponin and tropomyosin are covering the actin filament, not fully, it is covering. So around actin filaments are 300 to 400 is there, actin filaments. So in that tropomyosin is 40 to 60 tropomyosins are present. Okay, understood? The thin filament, so it is like this, it is arranged. Okay, so the sarcomere, so this is a thick filament, see here, so many head portion of the myosin can be visible. Okay, so here this is the thin filament, so that is made up of actin filaments. Okay, so that's complete the introduction part of the skeletal muscle. So in the skeletal muscle, so very important, you have to learn about the structure of the sarcomere. Only the diagram you have to write. Understood? So in the textbook it is given, it is nice, you can see the textbook. Okay, so sarcomere, the diagram is enough. Okay, so no need of writing the theory part. So just they will ask the draw the diagram of sarcomere. You have to write this, you have to draw the diagram, is enough. Okay, so this one understood, right? Thick and thin filament. So this is a thick filament which is a single myosin molecule. So it is arranged like this. This is a single thin filament, that is actin. So like this it is arranged. Okay. So next, coming to the neuromuscular junction. So neuromuscular junction, the name only indicates the nerve. Neuro means nerve, muscular means muscle. Okay, so both are contacting place, that is called junction. The neuromuscular junction, very important. So this is the muscle. If you take the muscle, this is the muscle. Okay, skeletal muscle. I am talking about only the skeletal muscle. Okay, and this is the axon. So axon, you know, right? Nerve. This is the nerve, the dendrite, and this is the axon. So axon terminal has, as I told, so it has a many terminals, the terminal buttocks are there, many terminals are there. So that will go and contact with the muscle. Okay, so that is called motor end plate. So motor means for movement. So this nerve is a motor nerve. Okay, so this is the end plate. Motor end plate is a motor nerve fiber, and the muscle innervated by it is called motor unit. So the motor unit is very important. So motor unit is a motor nerve fiber, and its innervated to the muscle. It is called motor unit. A single nerve can control the many muscle fibers. Okay, single nerve controls the many muscle fiber, or maybe it controls a few fibers, that will depending on the working of the muscle. Okay, means, so if you means always the motor nerve fiber, between the motor nerve fiber and the skeletal muscle, this neuromuscular junction is present. Okay, so we will go to the neuromuscular junction. You can see these are the skeletal muscles. Okay, skeletal muscles. This is the nerve. Okay, neuromuscular junction or NMJ. So NMJ is the junction formed between a motor neuron and the muscle fiber. Okay, motor neuron and a muscle fiber. Coming to the components, what it contains. So understood, right? Neuromuscular junction. Why? When you are moving your muscle, so nerve give the stimulus to the muscle to generate the action potential. Okay, so that junction between the nerve and the muscle, motor nerve and the muscle, we call it as a neuromuscular junction. The neuromuscular junction mainly contain a axon terminal. So axon terminal is a nerve part. Axon, you know, right? Suppose this is a motor nerve. Okay, so this is a axon. So this is your skeletal muscle. So between these two, okay, so between this, so whenever it receives the stimulus, action potential is generated, right? Action potential is generated. This action potential is reaching the axon terminal. Terminal means, you know, right? So end points, axon terminal. Okay, So next, the presynaptic membrane. Okay, so presynaptic membrane is this one, axon part, nerve part. Okay, presynaptic membrane. Then there is a gap is present between the nerve and the muscle, that is called synaptic cleft. Then there is a postsynaptic membrane. So postsynaptic membrane is the skeletal muscle part, muscle part. Okay, that are the components. So you can see here the diagram. So this is the motor neuron. Okay, motor neuron. This is the muscle cell. Okay, muscle cell. So this motor neuron axon has a many branches, terminal branches. Okay, so that will make a synaptic connection, that is called presynaptic membrane. So this is the postsynaptic membrane. So postsynaptic membrane or muscle part. You can see this diagram also. This is the axon terminal. This is one enlarged part. Okay. So this is the nerve part, nerve terminal. So then axon terminal. Then this is the muscle, postsynaptic membrane. This is the presynaptic membrane. So in the axon terminal, so very important is synaptic vesicles. Okay, very important is synaptic vesicles are present. Understood? Synaptic vesicles are present. So these synaptic vesicles mainly contain the calcium ions. Okay, calcium ions. Synaptic vesicles contain calcium ions. Sorry. So synaptic vesicles mainly contain neurotransmitters substances, neurotransmitter substance, NTS, neurotransmitter substance, like here acetylcholine. Okay, acetylcholine. The synaptic vesicles contain acetylcholine. Understood? Next comes steps in neuromuscular transmission. Means, so when the action potential arrive at the motor nerve terminal. So at the motor nerve fiber receive the action potential. So when it receives the stimulus, it produces action potential. That action potential that signal has to transmit it to the muscle. How it will transmit, that we have to see. Okay. So now, whenever there is an arrival of action potential, there is a depolarization of motor neuron terminal. So that time there is a calcium influx at the nerve terminal is taking place. So whenever the calcium influx is taking place, the binding of synaptic vesicles to that prejunctional membrane is taking place. So that will from the synaptic vesicles mainly contain the acetylcholine as a neurotransmitter is released by exocytosis. This acetylcholine passing through the synaptic cleft and bind to the receptors which is present over the postjunctional membrane or postsynaptic membrane, that is on the muscle part. Okay, from here it is a muscle, till here it is a nerve part. Okay, so whenever the acetylcholine is released binding to that membrane, there is a opening of sodium channels is taking place. Okay, opening of sodium channels, then there is a slow influx of sodium into the muscle is taking place. So that whenever the sodium influx takes place, that will produce an action potential. Okay, so there is a generation of end plate potential. So also it will more and more sodium ions will enter. So then there is a generation of muscle action potential. Understood? So I will repeat again with the diagram. See here. So these are the this is the axon terminal. Okay, whenever it receives the impulse, motor end plate, so that will cause a influx of calcium ions. So calcium ions will get influx. So calcium ions will coming inside the nerve. So that will cause the fusion of synaptic cleft. You can see here the fusion of synaptic cleft is taking place to the presynaptic membrane and release of acetylcholine. So on the postsynaptic membrane there is a receptors are present. You can see here the receptors. So this acetylcholine go and bind to acetylcholine receptor, ACH. ACH means acetylcholine receptors. So whenever it go and bind to the acetylcholine receptor, the second, okay, so that will produce a impulse in sarcolemma, that is sodium influx is the same thing, okay. Diffusion of acetylcholine through cleft, binding of acetylcholine to postsynaptic membrane. So whenever the acetylcholine bind to the postsynaptic membrane or on the muscle side, okay, this is till from here, this is a muscle part. So the opening of sodium channels is taking place. Okay, inside the muscle, sodium channels will sodium influx is taking place. That will cause the generation of end plate potential, EPP. It is important. Okay, generation of end plate potential. So that will reach the firing level. That means more and more calcium ions, calcium channels will open, more and more calcium influx is taking place, and it will reach the firing level. Muscle action potential will be produced in the muscle. Okay. So from the one muscle, it is not passing through another muscle. Okay. So only from the nerve to the muscle. Understood? So from the nerve, the action potential is transmitted to the muscle through by releasing the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. Okay, acetylcholine. After releasing of the acetylcholine, so immediately this acetylcholine is metabolized by choline esterase. Choline esterase is the choline esterase is an enzyme. So immediately it will metabolize or degrade the acetylcholine. Otherwise, what will happen? Acetylcholine will be stay in the it will bind to the acetylcholine receptors on the muscle, and continuously the contraction is taking place. So after contraction, the muscle has to relax, right? So till the signal is present, acetylcholine is released. So immediately it is degraded by acetylcholine esterase. So neuromuscular junction is a very important major question. Okay, major question. So they will ask what is NMJ, neuromuscular junction. Explain the mode of explain with the diagram. You have to draw the diagram. Then transmission of action potential through neuromuscular junction. So first what you have to write? So definition you have to write. Then the diagram you have to draw. So it is given in the textbook. Okay. So then mode of transmission. All the steps you have to write. So that's complete the neuromuscular junction. Next, coming to neuromuscular blockers. So what is neuromuscular blockers means? The substances that will affect the neuromuscular transmission. Okay, so some of the drugs, some of the chemicals, so which will bind the presynaptic terminal, or some are bind to the postsynaptic terminal, some are will prevent the influx of sodium, so like that. So important is tubocurarine, succinyl CoA and neostigmine. Okay. So tubocurarine is a acts on the receptors which is present on the postsynaptic membrane or post junction membrane. Okay, so it competes for a binding of acetylcholine. So suppose on the postsynaptic terminal, so this is the nerve, this is the muscles, right? So here receptor is present to bind for acetylcholine. So this tuberculin will go and bind to here and prevent the binding of acetylcholine, like that. Okay. Next is the depolarizing blocker. The succinyl CoA is a depolarizing blocker. Okay. So what it will do? It maintains the post junction membrane in depolarized state. Okay. It maintains the post synaptic membrane in a depolarized state. Okay. So neostigmine, so it is anticholine esterase. Okay, anticholine, that means it will inhibit the action of choline esterase. What is the action of choline esterase? It is mainly degrade the acetylcholine, right? So this will prevent that action. Okay, so it will inhibit the action of acetylcholine esterase, choline esterase. Okay, so now continuously the acetylcholine will not get metabolized, so it will continue to exert the action for longer duration. So these are the neuromuscular blockers. So last part is a disease condition, clinical condition called myasthenia gravis. Okay, for a short answers they will ask the myasthenia gravis. So what is myasthenia gravis? We will see. It is an autoimmune disorder. Okay, autoimmune disorder. Here the antibodies will be produced against the receptors. Okay, so on the, so this is the muscle, right? This is the muscle part. So here receptors are present. To that receptor what your acetylcholine is go and bind. So to that receptors these antibodies will develop. Okay, antibodies will develop and it will prevent the destroy the binding of acetylcholine. Okay, so decrease the number of receptors, so that will fail to transmit the impulse. Understood? So myasthenia gravis is a that cause the weakness or fatigue. So very important features. Okay, muscle weakness, ptosis, respiratory failure, fatigue of the muscle, because it is the inability of the neuromuscular junction to transmit the impulse. Now what will happen? Acetylcholine impulses will reach the nerve terminal, synaptic vesicles will open that release the acetylcholine. That acetylcholine go and bind to the receptors which is present over the postsynaptic membrane. But here what will happen in this disease? On that receptor the antibodies will develop. Okay, so now the acetylcholine will not bind to that receptor. If acetylcholine is not binding, the sodium channels will not open, muscle will not produce the action potential. So the muscle weakness or fatigue will taking place. Clinical symptoms like muscle weakness, ptosis is a eye problem, that is the decrease in the number of if the disease are involved in the respiratory system, respiratory muscles, then the person will be die because of respiratory failure. So here the treatment can be give the anticholine esterases like neostigmine, okay, physostigmine can be given. So that's complete the this myasthenia gravis. You can see here, this is the normal, okay, normal, this is a receptor, acetylcholine receptor, to that acetylcholines are binding, okay, binding. So but here what will happen, acetylcholine is normal but antibodies, okay, here, so antibodies are developed that will prevent the binding of acetylcholine. So muscle activations are inhibited. So you can't do the any work, the muscles get easily fatigue or muscle weakness can be seen. So today class, what and all you have to study, only the structure, sarcomere structure, only the diagram, okay, only the diagram. So which contain A band and I band. A band is made up of myosin protein, I band is made up of actin, tropomyosin and troponin proteins. So in that myosin and actin, we call it as contractile protein, and the remaining, the troponin and tropomyosin are regulatory protein, okay. Then the neuromuscular junction. The neuromuscular junction is a junction, functional junction between the end of the motor neuron. Motor neuron is very important, okay. So first only I told there is a sensory neuron, motor neurons. Sensory neuron carrying on the sensation, different sensation. Motor neuron are mainly involved in the movements, right. So because of that, the motor neuron make a connection with the muscles. Muscles are involved in the movement. So at the motor neuron, at the axon terminal, so it has a presynaptic membrane, so also called a prejunctional membrane. So mainly contain synaptic vesicles and mitochondria, cell organelles are also present. So these synaptic vesicles contain acetylcholine as a neurotransmitter, okay. So whenever the action potential reach the axon terminal, that will cause the influx of calcium ions, calcium channels open, calcium influx, that will cause the bursting or opening of synaptic vesicle, release of a neurotransmitter at the synaptic cleft. So in the synaptic cleft, is a gap between the presynaptic and post-junctional membrane. Next, in the post-synaptic membrane or post-junctional membrane is formed by a muscle part, that is a muscle part. Over that the receptors are present. To that receptors the acetylcholine will bind. Whenever the acetylcholine will bind to that receptor, sodium channels will open, sodium influx of sodium ions into the muscle is taking place. Make the muscle will going to the positive side, the positive ions will be increases inside the cell. So depolarization is taking place. So that is called end plate potential. If more and more sodium influx is taking place, so that will reach the firing level and produce a action potential at the muscle. So then there is a muscle contraction is taking place. Then neuromuscular blockers you have to read. Then myasthenia gravis. So myasthenia gravis is a autoimmune disorder. So auto means self. So it is producing antibodies. There is no stimulants. There is no antigens. To produce antibodies, the antigen is required. So here it is autoimmune disorder. So antibodies will be formed against the acetylcholine gated channels. Okay, so that will prevent the binding of acetylcholine at the presynaptic terminal. So that will prevent the further transmit of impulses to the muscle. So that will leads to muscle weakness, ptosis or a fatigue. If the respiratory muscles are involved, then there is a respiratory failure, death of the person is taking place. So you can prevent by giving the anticholine esterases like neostigmine and physostigmine medicines. Thank you.